This is an introductory video to the Scorpion Oil Tools 2000 HRTW, shown here resting in its storage cart, painted blue. We will show later how it is removed by removing those pins. The machine is used while suspended, lifted from this turnbuckle assembly. There is the pin, one of the pins for removing the machine from the cart. Here we are showing the two arms or the two grips on the machine. The spacing between them is variable by moving the backup arm, shown here, along the lead screw or adjuster bolt. It can be moved further or closer to the arm using a socket, air wrench, or manual wrench. Here is the 3-bank control valve with 3 levers to control each of the 3 cylinders, and the smaller gauge that shows the overall system pressure. Each of the levers is labeled for the cylinder that it controls. Here we have 2 gauges that show the pressure for breakout and makeup. On the makeup gauge, we typically use a 3000 psi, on the breakout 5000 psi, although they are interchangeable. As you can see, there are a few more pins for removing the machine from the cart. Here we have the manifold for hydraulic pressure in and out, properly labeled on the manifold. We will use these quick connects for the video's sake, however you should supply your own. Here is the cartridge for controlling the system pressure, and here is the manifold and cartridge for controlling the makeup pressure. We will go over this later in the video. We will now show how to remove the machine from the storage cart. There are 4 pins, each with a hairpin, that need to be removed prior to lifting the machine from the cart. Operators are wearing gloves and protective eyewear, as well as steel-toe boots. All 4 pins have now been removed. The machine will be lifted from the stand. Note, we pre-balanced the machine so it will be level. If there is an issue, if something adjusts over time, the leveling of the machine can be adjusted by using the turnbuckles as needed. As you can see, the machine is balanced. The operator will lift a little bit higher and then remove from the cart. The machine will now be ready for operation. We will now begin the process of applying the Scorpion to the pipe. The pin T, or the pin with the handle, is removed at the cylinder side on both chains. There is a hairpin that is removed, and then you pull the pin. The chains will now hang down. Then the machine is brought over the top of the pipe that is to be worked on. We will now show how to adjust the spacing between the grips. As you can see, there is approximately 8 inches between the grips. We are going to move the backup arm along the adjuster bolt using an impact wrench and socket. As the operator rotates the adjuster bolt or the lead screw, the backup arm moves closer to the makeup arm. Notice that the machine is above the pipe. It is not attached to the pipe currently. We will now show connecting the hydraulic lines in and out. The manifold is labeled with an out and an in section. Not all machines come with the quick connects that we have shown here. However, the same should be done with your quick connects, as we are now going to be ready to operate the machine with hydraulics. Now that the machine is properly positioned above the pipe, we will talk about achieving a grip on the pipe. The operator is now extending the backup chain cylinder first. It is important to note that when you achieve grip with the Scorpion, always achieve grip with the backup arm first. The backup arm is the one that moves along the adjuster bolt. The operator is removing the pin here, attaching the chain to the end of the cylinder ram or the cylinder head. He will put in the hairpin. Note, we will have a problem here. We have too many links. When we try to achieve grip, the cylinder ram will retract all the way into the body, and there will still be space between the links and the pipe. This is not the correct way to do it. We will show you in the next part how to do this correctly. As you can see, the cylinder ram is retracting into the cylinder body, and there is no chrome showing on the cylinder ram. This is not acceptable and will not work. We will need to remove a link, so we will show you the process using a snap ring plier, a soft blow mallet, and also good to have a soft metal pin that you can use to extract the pin if it doesn't come out easily. The operator or technician removes the snap rings from 2 pins, pushes it out, and removes 1 link. He will now replace the link with the handle. The pin with 1 snap ring still inserted, and he will reinsert the snap ring. Now that the chain is shorter and should fit better around the pipe, we will reattach it to the cylinder ram head by inserting the pin T and the hairpin and re-achieving grip. Reminder, the grip should always be achieved on the backup arm first. Also note that once the grip is achieved on the backup arm, the machine will be righted or in the correct position in relation to the pipe. Here you can see there is chrome showing on the cylinder ram. We know we have a good grip on the pipe. The tong dies are sitting nicely around the circumference of the pipe. We will now show how to adjust the system pressure on the Scorpion. This is the total amount of pressure in the system that will both grip and achieve the actuation for makeup or breakout. The operator should loosen the lock and then adjust the knob. Here he is rotating to the right to increase the system pressure allowed into the system. To get a reading on the gauge, the operator should bottom out one of the cylinders. In other words, pull the lever so that the cylinder rod is retracted all the way into the cylinder body. As you can see, the system pressure is increasing. We are now allowing about 1500 psi. Once the operator is satisfied, he will lock the knob into place. We will now show how to set the makeup pressure, which is independent of the system pressure. It is done by the same process. Unlocks the knob lock on the makeup torque adjustment manifold and uses the lever corresponding to the makeup breakout cylinder and pulls the lever into the makeup position to get the reading on the makeup pressure gauge. Currently it is about 750 psi. The operator is now rotating the knob and it is going up to 1000. Again, he is pulling on the lever. Let's go when he wants to stop getting the reading on the gauge. We are now at 1000 and he will lock the knob in place so it cannot be changed. We will now perform a breakout. We have achieved grip on the backup chain or backup arm. As you can see, the makeup arm chain is not engaged. So the operator will now retract the chain cylinder rod up into the cylinder body to achieve grip. You want to ensure that the tong dies are all contacting the outer diameter of the pipe nicely. And the operator will re-achieve grip with both chains. This procedure should be done throughout a makeup or breakout process. The operator should continually re-achieve the grip on both chain cylinders while actuating the actuation cylinder. In this case, we are doing a breakout. The makeup breakout cylinder is extending out of the body as you saw previously, and you can see the hash marks have moved. The operator again re-achieves grip and he will go to break out further. Again, that cylinder is extending out, so you see the arm coming out of the body and the hash marks are now apart. We will now show the makeup procedure, which is very similar to the breakout procedure. As you can see, the hash marks are apart. We will make up the joint to bring them back together. The operator achieves grip on the backup chain and then the makeup chain, and then actuates the cylinder. When making up, the cylinder rod is retracting into the cylinder body. You can see a pressure readout of approximately 750 psi, and the cylinder has been fully retracted and the hash marks are back together, but we have not reached our 1000 psi setting on the makeup pressure. So though the hash marks are back together, we did not reach our desired 1000 psi of makeup pressure. The operator will loosen the chain around the OD of the pipe and now ratchet the makeup breakout cylinder back out in order to get ready for another stroke of makeup. Occasionally, when stroking the cylinder out, the arm and jaw positioning on the OD of the pipe will be slightly off. The operator is using a soft blow mallet to bang the arm back into place so that the jaw sits nicely on the OD. Once the cylinder is fully extended out and sitting nicely on the OD, the operator will re-achieve the grip, as you can see, re-achieve the grip on the backup cylinder as well, and now he is ready to do further makeup. As he continues the makeup, the pressure increases up to approximately 800-850 psi as the cylinder comes in. The hash marks now show that we have made it up tighter than it was prior, and apparently this is all the pipe will take. So we will not reach our 1000 psi. We will now show how to install the reducer package by first removing the pin or bolt and the T-slot jaw from the arm. We will now remove the chain links. The operators will use the snap ring pliers to remove the snap ring from around a couple of the pins. They prefer to do several links at a time so they are not too heavy. Each link and pin together is about 15 pounds. You will use the soft metal pin to push the pin out. Sometimes easier done with 2 technicians. The chain is now off and we have to remove the L link. We will now remove the L link with the same process of removing the snap ring from one side. Note the side that the operator is removing. He will push it through with the mallet and use the soft metal pin to push it all the way out. It is helpful to have a second operator there to hold the L link. Next, we will put in the reducer jaw. This is a jaw 300. Your reducer set comes with a jaw 300 and 500. The 300 is for approximately 2 to 4 inch. The 500 is for approximately 4 to 6 inch. Put in the bolt and the nut to retain it, and the jaw is set. There's the 300. We will now install the reducer L-link. As shown, the operator puts it into place, replaces the pin, and uses a soft blow mallet to put it into final place, and then securing it with a snap ring on the backside. We will now install the reducer frame and threaded eye bolt by lifting it as shown through the L-link and placing the nut with the beveled side down onto the threaded bolt. This is how we adjust the position of the reducer frame, which we will show shortly. Once the reducer frame and threaded eye bolt are in place, you should screw in the set screws into the groove of the threaded eye bolt. This prevents it from spinning. This is done with an Allen wrench. Now we will secure the reducer frame around the OD of the pipe. The chain cylinder ram or rod has been extended enough to line up the holes and put in the pin T, or the pin with the handle. Once the pin T is in place, the hairpin should be installed so that it does not fall out. We will now achieve a grip with the reducer frame. Note, this first demonstration will be incorrect and what not to do. We have achieved the grip. There is chrome showing on the rod. However, as you can see, it is not good contact, and more importantly, the two jaws are not in parallel. We must adjust the reducer frame in order to achieve the grip in a correct fashion. The operator is lowering the chain cylinder, and now we will use the bolt on the threaded rod in order to set the position of the frame correctly. The end goal is to have the jaw of the arm and the jaw in the frame of the reducer parallel. As you can see, they are more lined up now. The operator lets it rest on the bolt, or the nut rather, and he will now achieve grip. Once grip has been achieved, we have solid contact between the two tongue dies of the top jaw and the two tongue dies of the bottom jaw, and you can see that the two jaws are in parallel. The reducer will now be ready to actuate either a makeup or a breakout. Notice also that they are both the 300 size jaws.